Hello, everybody. Welcome to the December Booktube Chicks Book Club live show. This month, we read Among the Beasts and Briars by Ashley Poston, and I'm excited to talk about it. This is her release that came out in October, I believe, and this is also the second Ashley Poston book that we've read this year, but we're just going to roll with it. Kat, do you want to go ahead and do the synopsis for everybody?
Sure. So basically, this is not a fairy tale retelling, but it kind of has that fairy tale like storytelling kind of thing. So it follows a kingdom, and they're on the edge of these woods, and the woods is cursed. And so a long time ago, the king made a pact with the woods people. I don't know that as long as his people don't go into the woods, none of the creatures from the woods would attack the kingdom. And he got a crown from it, and so only his descendants can wear the crown. So the king dies eventually. Eventually, the crown is passed on, and then in the present time in the book, the king dies, and the princess is getting ready to take on the duties of being the queen. Now she's getting the crown, and then they're attacked by people from the woods because they want the crown. It's very, very fairy tale like, and the main character has to venture into the woods to figure out what's going on, how to stop the creatures from attacking. It's a very interesting story. I did personally like my personal thoughts on this book. It was interesting the beginning, but then I feel like the middle towards the end kind of got predictable. And so I ended up not enjoying the book as much as I was enjoying the beginning. So I did give this book 3 stars, and it does have a like a relationship between the main character and her. What is he? He's a fox in the fox.
Yeah.
And it turns romantic later, but I won't go into spoilers but it's interesting, and there's a bear who can speak to the fox, and it's all a very interesting story, but I just feel like the ending didn't live up to the hype of the beginning.
Desiree, you want to go ahead?
So I don't know if I just wasn't in the mood for a fantasy or what. Like I said something to John. I was like, it was a fantasy. I don't know if I was in the mood for it. And he was like, do you even like fantasy? And I was like, what? And he was like, maybe you don't like fantasy as much as you think you do. And I was like, what? So now I have to think about that. But I don't know. I feel like it was missing some of the elements that I feel like I love so much about her other series. And I was reading reviews about this, and people were saying that there was some sarcasm and some wittiness. And I don't know if I missed it, but it felt like a pretty serious story, even though it was a fantasy. Like, I don't remember getting I don't remember laughing at anything. I don't remember getting parts of sarcasm or stuff like that. So I felt like it was missing a little bit of her humor and her wit. And I don't know. I think, like Kat, I would probably give it a 3. And it's not that it wasn't good, because I was enjoying it as I was reading it. But I just feel like it was missing some kind of like oomph for me.
Yeah. So. I just felt like there was nothing inherently bad about it, but there was just nothing of like that special that makes a book really, really good. It just wasn't like anything special.
Yeah, so like it was cute, and maybe there are parts of it that I might remember, like the whole fox thing, but I don't think I would like recommend it to other people or talk about it a lot after having read it.
I'm just shocked that I rated a fantasy book higher than Kat right now, because I gave it 4 stars. I really like Ashley Poston's Once Upon a Con series. And then we read for book club a couple months ago, we read Heart of Iron, which was a lot. So this...
But that was sci-fi.
Yeah, that was sci-fi. So because that was sci-fi and this is more of fantasy element, and then her other series is contemporary, I was excited to see what she could do. the synopsis wasn't really like screaming anything to me that I was like super interested in. I think that this was just the book that we all agreed on. But I ended up really liking it. I was hesitant because originally I read it from the library because I wasn't sure if I was going to like it. And then when the Owl Crate edition came out, I was like, okay, it really doesn't matter if I like it or not because this is a gorgeous book. But I ended up really enjoying it. I did have a prediction that I'll have to discuss in the spoiler part of the live show. But I thought it was good. I actually, just before we got on, reread like the last chapter because I think I think part of me was like falling asleep when I was finishing this book. So I think I may have like thought I read a couple of pages, but really didn't. So I had to reread that. But yeah, I'm just 4 stars. I'm shocked I rated it higher than you guys.
I feel like the fairy tale aspect, like I could see why the fairy tale aspect of it maybe might really appeal to you because I know you really like retellings and stuff like that, even though it's not necessarily retelling.
Yeah, because I wasn't even sure going in if it was a retelling or not. And then even while reading it, I was like, is this a retelling? Is it not? And I guess I can see kind of an element of it being Beauty and the Beast, but it's a stretch, kind of. So with that, I guess we'll go ahead into spoilers so we can talk about this more in depth. What do you guys want to talk about?
Oh, I guess we should explain the relationship because I kind of made it seem inappropriate. The guy turns into a human, okay? But he was originally a fox. Okay, let's go into more spoilers. He was originally human. He turned into a fox because he went into the woods and he turned into a fox, and then he turned into a human. And that's where the relationship starts. But it's still weird. But he is a human. It's not like an animal person relationship. It's not that kind of book. Okay.
But you also have to say that he is the prince.
Yes.
Who,
which I saw it coming a mile away. But yes.
Me too. And we thought he was dead because I remember I was thinking about it, and then I was like, something happened to where I was like, no, it's not the prince. And then like later on, I was like, definitely the prince.
Well, so when the beginning, like when what is it? His name, the guy that attacked, and then he became okay again. That you asked me who it was, Desiree, Saren. When he attacked, like at the very beginning, and he was one of the parties that went missing, I was thinking, oh, they're all gonna come back. Mm-hmm. Like they're all gonna be these weird zombie, whatever they are, people, these ancient people. But what is it, bone eaters? So yeah, they're all gonna come back, and so I kind of, and then he started talking about, at one point he started talking about the fact that he doesn't remember, like he had these memories, but he doesn't remember what the memory is like about or something. I was like, oh, he's definitely like the prince who went missing. Mm-hmm. The only sad part is, did the mom ever come back? Like, did she ever show up? Like,
that we know of. Not that it was like specified.
She I remember there was like a memory like a couple of weeks after she went missing that she came back, but she wasn't the same. So I think the dad like had to kill her or something like that.
Okay.
So she's the only one who didn't like come back. Yeah.
So the whole prince, him being the prince, I was like, oh yeah, he's definitely he's definitely it. So I saw that coming when he started talking about his memories, or that he had these memories that he doesn't know what it was in regards to.
Yeah. I'm not even gonna lie. In the beginning, when shit hits the fan, like it gets really dark. Like everybody turns into these things, like her friend, her dad, everybody. So
sorry, go ahead.
I don't even know where I was going with that, but like Ashley Poston was like, no fucks given, like all of this is happening.
So my only confusion is, because this is a generation that's down the line. This isn't the original king who died and that got the crown, or so we thought. And towards the end, we obviously learned that that's not true. But He's not the original king. So is like the Woods people, why did they decide to attack this particular generation to get the crown back? You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because there have been like where the king has died, so the next generation takes over, the son or daughter takes over. So I'm just wondering, is it because it was Saren, and obviously I just didn't understand why now, you know?
I think it was maybe like, I mean, this is kind of just like off the cuff here. Like it was they wanted to do it on a coronation, but the next coronation would have been when that king died because, well, wait. I mean, yeah, if Saren became like the puppet out of all of this, he is supposedly dead during this king's reign. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I don't know. I was just honestly, I was just confused about the whole why now part.
Maybe I'm misunderstanding what happened, but isn't what happened that like I don't know what her name was, like the queen of whatever of Valor or
right, Vorin, whatever.
Yeah. Didn't they turn her into the crown? Like they took
at
her
the end, yeah. So the lady of the Woods, who supposedly they created this little nice, little history saying that she gave the crown as a part of the peace treaty, but really it was I don't know how it happened, but the original king turned her into a crown and he took her, like she's in her crown.
Right, and then
so that's how they were able to keep the Woods at bay, because really the lady of the Woods was on his head the whole time.
Okay, I didn't get that.
Yeah.
I missed that part.
So that's why I felt like, because they had been looking for her.
Yeah.
But did someone figure out, because someone came to take the crown?
So I guess that would make sense. But why did it take them like generations down the line? You know what I mean?
I don't know. Maybe I don't know if it was generations, like maybe just one. They did it. Maybe the crown was hiding because they attacked during the coronation. Yeah. So that would have been when the crown was getting passed on to the next person, where it would have been most, accessible.
Yeah. I don't know. This, to be honest, I didn't understand like 100% of the plot of the book. Like I got the general, gist of the book, but there was like these certain little details that I didn't really quite understand.
And like, if I'm understanding, because what's his name? Lauren, the fox.
Right.
Arwen was his sister. Right. So why was it that he wasn't getting the crown? Is it just because he didn't want to be?
I don't think he wanted it.
Yeah, I don't think he wanted it either.
I don't think they really say it. But I'm assuming people will probably the people will not accept him as the king, as the next king, just because he was touched by the curse of the Woods, because he became the fox, and then I don't know. That's how personally I would say, because the people, they were just like it. There was a part towards the end that they say that even though the Woods had basically left them alone, it said that they still kept the barbed wire or something like that, and even though it had overgrown with plants. So I'm assuming like people still have like these prejudice against the Woods, and they wouldn't want him particularly to be the next ruler. That's how I understood it, but I don't think they actually ever explained why he didn't become the next king or queen.
Sorry, one thing. Desiree, on your copy, do me a favor real quick, because I need to know if this is in the regular edition too. Go to the acknowledgements at the very end. You're on mute.
Is it after the acknowledgements?
Yeah. Is that there?
Yeah.
Did you read that?
Yeah.
Did you, Kat?
No. What?
I didn't know that this was here. Hold on.
Did you just find it? I wanted to ask you guys, but I didn't want to bring it up now. But anyways, like, Okay, are you going to read it?
Hey, here's why I probably didn't know about it.
Because I was listening to the audiobook.
It's not in the audiobook.
So it's not in the audiobook, so I didn't even notice.
And I read the ebook, so as soon as I got to the acknowledgments, I was like, oh, I'm done. Hold on. Pause.
Okay.
Hold on, I'm not done. I only read. Hold on.
I mean, this isn't giving new information.
Did you read both sides?
It kind of does. Yeah, there's 2 pages. Did you read both pages?
I read the first page about the kiss, but
Wait, hold on. I'm still reading the first page. Okay, I suspected that. All right.
Is Kat done?
yes.
You're done?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I spent a whole half hour today doing searches trying to figure out if there was a sequel to this, and I couldn't find anything anywhere. But according to that, there has to be. Like, that just.
It might not be like a direct sequel. It's possible that she's probably
Like a spin-off?
This might be a spin-off, like a companion sequel based on Saren or whatever that was. I thought you meant the first page, and I was like, this was kind of hinted at the end of the book. I was like, why is this news? But then, yeah, okay, the other page.
I like my face when I finish that. It's funny. No, now I'm looking at Ashley Poston's Goodreads page to just take a look.
I looked on Amazon. I looked on Audible. I looked on Goodreads, because sometimes Goodreads will say like whatever series.
Yeah.
And so I was looking for those parentheses.
I mean, it's possible. I don't know.
Yeah, it's probably just not even announced yet. But still,
yeah,
it's like, what the
it's
heck?
possible that she's still like in the planning stages. Maybe like the publisher still hasn't, I don't know, given her another contract to write more books.
And I think I read the acknowledgments. I'm pretty sure I read the acknowledgments. So she was like talking about how she kind of wrote, well, she says she wrote all her books for herself. And she kind of alluded to this not being released, but that people encouraged her to write more to it to release it. And so I don't know. It kind of did feel, I don't want to say like an incomplete story because there was closure, but there was a feeling of wanting more, you know?
And now I'm looking at, I'm skimming the acknowledgments real quick.
To be honest, when I got to the end of the audiobook and he said the end, and I was like, oh, interesting. It's a standalone. But now it's not because of that little snippet, but
because I feel like there are a lot of unanswered questions, like, you know, the fact that her mom didn't reappear. I kind of feel like
that's true. If it's a companion sequel, I will read it. If it's a direct sequel, I might not pick it up just because I don't know. The book didn't really speak to me in that way.
Well, whatever happens, I hope Owl Crate does an addition to go with this one.
If they do, it will be a special.
Yeah.
Well, maybe. No, maybe not, because with like the Jane's books, they did separate regular subscription boxes for each book.
I think
because they were companion sequels, not necessarily like direct.
The Owl Crate one for the second book, I think it's so ugly though. That purple and green.
Oh, I like the green.
So ugly.
Did
they have one for My Lady Jane? Did they do My Lady Jane?
Yeah.
Oh, well, now I got to look that up because I don't remember.
I don't know if like the cover was like an exclusive cover, because this was way back at the beginning.
Wait a second. I'm checking now.
But Desiree, if there is a sequel, would you read it?
I mean, I feel like I'm invested enough in Ashley Poston probably to read everything that she puts out, I think.
Me too.
Even if I don't like love it, because I think her writing is good and it was still interesting, like going through the book. But if I were to recommend her series, I would definitely recommend Once Upon a Con over and above everything else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because that's her like 3-book series, and that was her first thing that she did. So she's done that for a while.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Like I said, I told you guys I haven't read her contemporary series, but I do like when authors kind of like venture out into different genres. Like I feel like obviously they don't have to, but I do like it when just authors just take that dive, and they, like, she's written The Heart of Iron, which is a sci-fi book set in space, and then she has her contemporary series, and now this is more of a retelling, well, not retelling, but a fairy tale fantasy kind of book. I feel like authors sometimes, even prominent ones who are very popular, which is fine, we do enjoy their books, feel like they stay too comfortable in their niche, and I mean, there's nothing wrong with branching out.
No, I agree with that. I mean, I know Colleen Hoover's doing a lot of that.
Yeah.
Like, she's jumping into all different, like, new adult, romance, contemporary, paranormal.
Yeah.
And her last book I enjoyed, but not as much.
Yeah, and for authors, I feel like it's an advantage to do that, because, for example, if you're only writing contemporaries, I feel like you're excluding the people who aren't that big of contemporary readers. Or if you're only writing fantasy, you're excluding the people who primarily only read, say, contemporaries. So I feel like it broadens their readership, their reader audience, if they write different genres.
Well, as someone who, do you read the most fantasy out of all of us? Probably, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, is that a question? Even Chloe's like,
so what do you
the most
think,
fantasy, the most sci-fi?
what do you think, might have made it more interesting for you, or had more of a wow factor? Like, what do you think? Is there anything specific that you think was missing?
Maybe a little bit more world building. Again, I was surprised that this book was a standalone when I got to the end. Just because I feel like it's like you said, it felt like there was a lot of unanswered questions, and I feel like she personally, I wasn't, I said this at the beginning, I wasn't 100%, like, I didn't 100% understand the plot. And I feel like maybe if she had spread out the story within maybe 2 books, 3 books, I don't know what she's doing with now that we've read that little snippet. I feel like maybe the story could have flowed better, and maybe I might have liked it more. But I do feel like maybe the world building could have been handled a little bit more. I would have loved to know more about the woods, why they're so cursed. And I feel like that place that they went after, like that city of Warren, I think that's called, I feel like we didn't get enough of a glimpse on what they are in their society.
Right. So, I think I wanted to hear more about how the magic worked.
Yeah. That too. And like, I wanted to know, like, I feel like they also didn't explain like how the Lady of the Woods became entrapped or became the crown. I feel like it was just told at us, and I wanted to know how the original king did it. I just feel like there was just some unanswered questions, and I understand, obviously, we don't want a book that's like 1,000 pages long, but she could have like spread it out into a duology or something like that.
Now, at the end of with that snippet that you both just read, she says somebody came looking for whatever of debt, and that she's looking for the flower to be revived. Is that the lavender that they stole?
Yeah, I like I said, I don't know.
Because like, I feel like, I mean, other than daisies, the only flower that was mentioned was that they were like, "Oh, we haven't seen lavender in a really long time. Let's take this." They took the flower, they left with it. So
Yeah, again, like I said, I wanted a little bit more of the world building, and like you said, maybe a little bit more of the magic system. And I don't know what she's talking about in terms of the rights of debt. I would love to know what that is before you end it on a cliffhanger like that. But yeah.
it made me think of The Witcher, and I don't know what it's called in The Witcher, but it's almost something like that, where you can just show up to a kingdom and pronounce this right of whatever, and then they have to give you something. Shit, I forget what it was called though, but but that's what I thought of.
Yeah. I don't know, but like I feel like maybe she did it that way because I don't know. Ashley Poston is a way more popular author than Joan He. But Joan He, like, she was contracted to write that one book, which was Descendant of the Crane. But she, if you read the book, she left a lot of unanswered questions, which kills me. But it's a very open-ended ending. But she was only contracted to write that one book. So what her publisher did is that if the book did well enough, they might give her a contract to write more books in the series. So I don't know if that's the same position that Ashley Poston is in terms of this book. If maybe they contracted her to only write this one book, see how it does, because she's a primarily contemporary author, I guess. See how it does in the market, and then maybe give her another contract to write more books. And that's why she left that ending like that, in case she does get the opportunity to write more books. She kind of has something to build up from it.
I think that's how it was with The Murder Complex by Lindsay Cummings. It's a duology, but I think that it's been a while since I've read it. But I think that second one is left like open-ended, like you could write another book. And then the same thing with the end with Supernova, with the ending of the Renegades trilogy was left open-ended. So for hopefully something. I need something to come out of that.
Yeah. So I mean, it's like I said, it's possible. It kind of answers the question as to why we haven't heard anything about a sequel. Like you couldn't find anything in your search about a sequel for this book.
So what did you guys think of the romance?
I think it kind of just blossomed from like companionship. Because like, what?
Was that a pun?
No, but I had to think about that for a second. But no, because like the fox was always around, even when she didn't know who he was, and then they did this whole like adventure together. So I don't know. I think it came from companionship.
I do feel like this would have been one of those books that would have been perfect if, yes, romance. I do like romance in the books, but I feel like this book would have been perfect if they had done a friendship instead of a romance, because they had such this really good chemistry as friends when he was the fox. And simply because he turned into human and he's this good-looking human, all of a sudden there's like feelings. And I feel like because the book again is just supposedly a standalone, it would have been really great to see a friendship instead of a romance. And maybe at the end, like she did with this little snippet, maybe do like a little bit of a, I don't know, an open-ended, possibly could develop into a relationship. You know what I mean? It's like you said, I feel like this romance kind of derived from good companionship. He was there. So because I'm spending so much time with him, I'm gonna, develop feelings for him, and I understand that, but I don't know. I would have enjoyed to see.
They mentioned like a memory that came back to him when he was human before he turned into a fox, and I thought they were like trying to suggest that he had a crush on her before he became a fox.
Did it? I don't remember.
I mean, they were like kids though at the time, so I don't know.
I don't know. I just feel like, again, with if you're doing a a standalone. I feel like with this kind of standalone, it would have been nice to see a friendship. But I don't mind the relationship and the romance in this book. I don't feel it wasn't one of those cringy, very cringy, forced, because they were already friends to begin with. So it did kind of feel a little bit natural, but I would have preferred the friendship.
Yeah, I was just saying, I feel really weird rooting for her to get with a fox. But like
in the beast element.
I thought it was like, even when he was kind of talking like he was still a fox in his head, like I think to me it was clear how much he cared about her. So,
Yeah.
and I think like, because an animal would have more simplistic motives and instincts, that like, while the more time he spent being a human, the more he had to analyze, like, why do I feel that way? Why do I think that? What's going on? This is so complicated. Like he was having
the part like right after he turns into human, and then he's like, he can't control his emotions, so he starts randomly crying and sobbing, and I was like, I feel really awkward right now reading this, but I understand why it's happening. And he just like kept crying. He was trying so hard like not to cry in front of her, and then there was the moment, I think that he was in like the infirmary or something, and then the bear was like right next to him. He just started sobbing with the bear right next to him.
He's very emotional.
Yes. And I can imagine like going from, mostly not remembering your life beforehand, so you pretty much only remember your life as this fox, and then being human, you do have a lot of emotions, and I can imagine like the adrenaline that he was going through, and things happening with her, and yeah, poor guy.
Do you think that the bear is also like a human? Did anything happen when the curse was broken? Was the bear still a bear?
He died.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I mean,
No, the bear's still a bear.
no, but he died.
The bear
The bear
died?
died. Didn't the
No,
bear
because
die? The
no,
bear
because I
died. Am I crazy?
No.
The bear died.
No, because I just read about the bear.
Am I crazy? I'm pretty sure someone died. I thought it was the bear. Hold on, let me find it.
Well, then there's a bear in the epilogue then, or the final chapter.
Hold on.
No, wasn't the other chick that died why can't I remember the terms of anything? The Grandmaster?
I don't remember her dying. I mean, she probably did, and I just can't remember. What was the bear's name again? Did the bear have a name?
Vala?
What was it?
Vala?
Guys,
Maybe.
read chapter 29.
Okay, maybe the bear did die. Well, then there's a bear in the last chapter too.
Chapter page 312.
Okay,
The
hold on.
roots shot inward, closing in like a massive foot trap, impaling Vala through the middle a dozen times over.
Oh.
No. Too much blood. I tried to pry her out of the trap to pull the roots away, but she was already gone. I was gonna say Vala was the one person one character that I really liked in the book, and she was the one who died.
That's so upsetting that a whole character died and I didn't even realize.
Well, then there was still I'm trying to find the line where I read that there was a bear in this last chapter too, so I just like put 2 and 2 together and thought that was the same bear. I'm trying to find it real quick.
I mean, unless with like the I mean, I wouldn't know how it works, but maybe when they broke the curse, like with the destroying of the crown, maybe she came back to life. I don't know.
Yeah, okay, so on 331 it says he ducked through the frozen honeysuckle vines and disappeared into the darkened line of trees where a silver bear awaited. So I just assumed. Okay.
I don't know who Silver Bear is, but
I don't know either.
I'm trying to think of.
I think it was just like, I don't want to use the word basic, because I still think it was a creative story, like with this power that Karis had to be able to like just sprout things from nowhere.
Wait, was there ever an explanation as to why she has Oh yeah, that's right. She was wood cursed. Never mind.
Yeah. But they thought that maybe her mom passed on love with the curse, so it like
that's why she wasn't.
I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm still like wondering what happened to the mom. Because it's weird that everybody else came back but the mom.
Because she came back like a couple of weeks after the initial incident.
But did she was she killed?
Yeah, that she told the dad to kill her because she wasn't the same anymore.
In what way was she not the same anymore? Because Saren, whatever that guy's name is, he came back and he wanted to just kill everybody just so he can get the crown back.
Because she was wood cursed.
They all had like a hunger.
So she didn't?
No, she did. Because
how was she able to,
Because she tried to attack her daughter. She tried to eat her daughter.
I don't remember this thing, that's why I mean.
Because at some point after she cured the fox, after Karis cured the fox, she was like, I have a question. And he was like, what? And then she was like, what did it feel like? What did that hunger feel like? And he was like, I wanted to kill you. And she was like, but you cared. Because I guess he tried to stop himself. And so he was just explaining the feeling. And he basically told her, yeah, your mom probably knew that she was trying to hurt you, but she didn't care because the hunger was like overpowering her.
Yeah.
I got nothing. I didn't take notes this time. So
I tried. I think there was like one quote or like a couple of thoughts that I had, which were.
She tried, and then she started reading the other book, and then it all went out the window.
Okay, so the day that I finished that book in the holidays, I told her, I said, hey, because she didn't know what I was reading. I said, hey, one of the books I got you, I need you to start it like yesterday. That's the whole reason why she did that. Kat, you should read it.
I'm like 70 pages in, and I did not want to put it down to do this live show.
It's a palette cleanse.
So here are my random thoughts. I'm like, her blood makes forests. And then I wrote
I don't know why that's funny, but that's funny.
And then my other thought was, fox and bear are the lady's old gods, humans before now, animals. And then the two quotes that I put in here are, how did they know what they could be if no one told them what they couldn't? And I thought that was a cool quote where they were talking about, I think she was talking about like the ladies.
Oh yeah, in the new land where the ladies could do like they could be like they were practicing like fighting or something. I remember that quote. It's a really good quote.
Yeah, and then the other one, which is on page 267, Fox is saying to her, because she was like, oh, you wouldn't remember me or this wouldn't have happened. And he was like, then there would be a hole where you should have been, and I would miss whatever was supposed to fill it. And I thought that was sweet.
Your notes sound like the ones that I write, where it's just like a lot of thoughts while I'm reading.
So, I mean, again, I enjoyed it, and I like Ashley Poston's writing. I think it's just really interesting to compare them, because Once Upon a Con is so much, not just contemporary, but it's so much about like geek culture that she like crams in lots of pop culture references. So it's interesting to read something like this that doesn't really have any, because it's a fairy tale. So she's not making pop culture references, and it's not bad. It's just very different. So, but I imagine like maybe someone who likes a lot more fantasy, because it had a lot of 5 stars.
It did. And I was like scrolling through the reviews of like, am I like the only fantasy lover who did not love this book?
Kat, I can just see you scrolling through it, just going, "Why?"
And I was like, is it me? Am I broken? Should I give this 4 stars instead of 3? I don't know.
I was questioning. I was like, should I give it 4 stars? Because I don't know how I feel anymore.
I still can't believe I rated it the highest out of everybody here.
I'm surprised you rated it that high too.
I know. I was enticed by this gorgeous cover.
I mean, the cover is beautiful, but does that a whole star make? I don't know.
Well, here's the thing. I finished it before I found a copy, so I don't know. It took me forever to find a copy, so
At least you got one for not bad pricing.
I know I practically stole it for how much it cost.
Ugh.
I don't know. I kind of hope there is another one because I did like the relationship between Fox and Daisy. I thought it was cute, and it was like, it wasn't really love at first sight. I didn't think it was insta-lovey, even though they had built a relationship in a different way in the beginning. But
I had a lot of moments where I didn't know what her actual name was just because he always called her Daisy. It's at the top of every chapter, I know.
Yeah.
But I know. But I forgot. And I had a lot of moments like right in the beginning where I'm like, what is this chick's name? Why does he keep calling her Daisy?
actually,
I was thinking that too. I was like, her name is Karis, right? But then they keep just calling her Daisy, and I'm just like, is it a nickname? I don't know.
They probably did that because he didn't like being called Lauren. So she was going to end up calling him Fox anyway. Might as well give her a nickname too. But I just thought of like a part that was slightly funny was, again, he was in his like Fox brain, and she was like, well, what do you remember? And he was like, I remember how you smell. And she was like, what? And he was like, yeah, you stink. Because he was like so embarrassed that he even had that.
I remember that. I feel like it's such a typical guy thing to do too. Like, you say something sweet and then you become embarrassed and backtrack.
Yeah. Do we have anything else we want to talk about with this book?
Final thoughts.
Yeah, what are final thoughts?
The only emotion that really got me in this book was when the bear died. But otherwise, it was good. It was 3 stars. One thing I will say about this book is that it is very easy to read. Yeah. And for any of you who are watching right now, I'm going through a reading slump, so it's been hard for me to sit down and read. But this book, like, I read almost 100 pages the first time I read this book, like the first night. So it's actually very, very easy to get through, so it's not bad. So, and it's interesting, like the whole fairy tale fantasy aspect about it. It is interesting. I just don't feel like the book was super, super special, personally. The characters were okay. The whole woodsy part, which I feel like we didn't get enough of a background on, was only like the super interesting part about it. I do hope that we do get a sequel or some kind of companion sequel to it. But yeah, so I did give this book 3 stars.
I almost just screamed because I was like, what if her mom was the bear? Isn't that something that happens in like a Disney movie? Doesn't that happen in like Brave?
Wasn't that on that movie with the
Brother Bear?
No, the one with the girl with the wild
Brave. Yeah, Brave. Yeah.
Isn't her mom a bear, right?
Yeah, well, she got she wasn't a bear at the beginning of the movie.
Oh.
No, but like, because I was gonna say, I wonder why that was your favorite character, because I didn't feel like the bear did that much. the bear was just kind of like going along and would occasionally throw in some like line of wisdom, and felt kind of motherly, like protective and motherly. So that's why I was like, oh, the bear's her mom. But I don't know. I hope there's a sequel. I think there are a bunch of threads that can be continued and worked on, and I thought it was an interesting story and universe that she kind of set up. I would just like to hear more about it.
Yeah, I'd definitely be interested in some sort of sequel or companion. I'm still just surprised that I gave this 4 stars and nobody else in this group did. I enjoyed it. And that's really all I have to say. I just enjoyed it. So hold on, where was my train of thought going? For the next live show, we're actually I'm gonna announce the books after Christmas because we're gonna be announcing the first 3 months of 2021, so you guys can be prepared for the first 3 instead of just 1 month at a time. So this is the last live show of 2020. This is like Booktube Chicks has done a full year as the Booktube Chicks. I can't remember. I think we turn 1 like I think it's like in a couple of days.
I think it's tomorrow.
I think it's tomorrow too.
Yeah, I think it's tomorrow.
Double check. I'm pretty sure. I'm also pretty sure it's tomorrow.
Because I think our announcement videos went up when we went on that retreat, and I feel like it was the 21st.
Yes. I want to say it was too.
I think I'm going to publish that video soon.
What?
I have that vlog from that retreat, and I never posted it.
It's a year old.
I know, but like we've done nothing this year due to quarantine and all sorts of other stuff.
Yeah, I think I never published my vlog too. I have a vlog from one of our retreats sitting on my drafts, and I always think about it. Should I publish it or not?
Yes. I think because it's been so long, like it would be like, oh my god, we did do that. That happened. It would just be like fun to.
I don't even remember which one it was from. Like Chloe will be able to tell me when she looks at the.
It was
because you remember everything, Chloe.
It was the wait. Where did we go for that?
We went to like a small little town that was in like the middle of nowhere.
Oh
yeah, and we couldn't like order food or anything.
Yeah, we couldn't order Uber Eats because it wasn't available.
Never again on that one. So yeah, the Booktube Chicks turn 1 tomorrow, confirmed tomorrow. And what does the Booktube Chicks do? We do the book club and we do Pages and Pals, and that's it right now. But yeah, it's just been it's been a strange year. I think it has been an interesting one for the book club, and we read lots of good books and a couple of crappy books here and there. But I'm really excited to do 2021 with you guys, and we're almost done fully planning out the year of books. So I'm pumped. I'm excited. And we'll announce on the Booktube Chicks Twitter. Make sure you guys follow us at Booktube Chicks, which is where the announcement will go for the first 3 months of 2021. And we hope that you guys have a safe and fun holiday. Make sure you guys are still wearing masks because we're still in the middle of a raging pandemic. And yeah, so thank you guys so much, and we will see you guys in the new year. Bye.